Coming up on today's episode of Bucs Breakdown presented by PrizePicks, make sure to use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. We'll hear more about PrizePicks in the middle of today's show. But coming up, we're going to be talking about what ESPN had to say about the best and the worst offseason moves for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What we did well, what we maybe didn't do well. There's one, he addresses, this is Bill Barnwell of ESPN. He addresses one best part and then another, it's not specifically two additions or subtractions of the team, more just moves that actually happened. Now, it is Friday here at Chat Sports and everywhere, I guess. So we're going to do some fun Bucs trivia. Who did Tom Brady throw his last regular season touchdown to? Now, obviously, he played for the Bucs before he retired from the NFL again. So who did Tom Brady throw his last regular season touchdown to? Because I'll give you a hint. No, I won't give you a hint. Don't look it up. Don't be that guy or girl. Go down in the comments. Let me know. I'll answer this at the end of today's show. So if you know your Bucs trivia and you know your Bucs knowledge, let me know what you think in the comment section. All right. Addressing linebacker was ESPN Bill Barnwell's best move for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, honestly, after losing Lavonte David, we definitely did have to address linebacker. We should have addressed linebacker before he retired, if I'm being honest. But this is what Bill Barnwell had to say. It was time to do something at what had traditionally been a position of strength in Tampa Bay. The Bucs' defensive tape made for painful watching at times last season, as the duo of Lavonte David and SirVocea Dennis simply lacked in the athleticism to compete against upper echelon NFL offenses. David was in his 14th pro season, but Dennis was badly stretched in pass coverage and any sort of open space where he often couldn't get close enough to even miss tackles. Dennis allowed a 122 passer rating in coverage and missed 13% of tackles attempted, and David wasn't far behind, allowing 120.1 passing as a pass defender. Obviously, you look at Lavonte David's stats from last year, and you're like, well, he had 114 tackles, 8 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. He had a good season, but the coverage did lack. You could definitely see Lavonte David's age impacting what he was doing on the field, and it kind of sucked to see because Lavonte David's a superhero, in my opinion. And watching him kind of dwindle a little bit, definitely in coverage, because that was one of his strengths. And he was just an all over the field type of linebacker. And last year, he was not all over the field. He was getting tackles and stuff like that, but he was missing in coverage a lot. I've already said my opinion on SirVocea Dennis. I feel like I don't need to harp on that any more than I already did. But we know the stats of SirVocea Dennis. He had a 33% or 30. Sorry, I was giving him more. He had a 30.5 grade in PFF for coverage stats. We know that he is not the coverage linebacker type of guy. And him and Lavonte David, it was just not good back there. It was not at all. And I know that SirVocea Dennis, he keeps getting pushed down the depth chart. Having good linebacker depth is good, but I just think we can't put him out there again. And honestly, what Bill Barnwell said is sort of along the lines of what I'm thinking as well. He said, David retired, marking the end of an excellent career in Tampa Bay. General manager Jason Light replaced him by signing Alex Anzalone, landing the Bucs one of the league's most competent coverage linebackers, albeit on the wrong side of 30. He allowed a 78.8 passer rating, a lot better than 120 and 122 in 2025, and has seen his coverage passer rating top only 100 only once in 8 years as a pro. That's pretty good. Second-round pick Josiah Trotter isn't quite as ready to contribute against the pass, with the Missouri product projected as more of a solid run defender than the sort of player with the instincts to step right into a pass as a pass defender. In that role, he might be an athletic upgrade on Dennis. And I totally agree. Alex Anzalone, he was a great free agency pickup for us this offseason. He is going to take over that coverage side of being that middle linebacker, right? He is your side-to-sideline type of linebacker that Lavonte David was very good at doing. Maybe like last year or like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he was still producing in that. Alex Anzalone is going to take that production up. you can't replace David, but he's a solid middle linebacker. Like, he is going to cover well. I know he's on the wrong side of 30, but he still is a good coverage linebacker, and that is what we were lacking last year. SirVocea Dennis, great against the run, great box linebacker, and obviously he missed tackles, and he's not very good at that, but like, he still would make plays. Same thing with Lavonte David. He's just wasn't there anymore, right? Alex Anzalone will help that a lot. And I'll get to more about what Bill Barnwell had to say about the best and worst offseason additions and subtractions or moves in general. But this show is completely free because of our proud sponsor, and that is SeatGeek. Shout out to SeatGeek for presenting today's show. Use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. If you're looking to go to a game, you're looking to go to a concert, this is the spot to go. The MLB is in full swing. I love going to MLB games, getting a hot dog, getting a beer, hanging out with my friends. Like, that is one of the best times during the summer. So SeatGeek has you covered because the NFL schedule is actually out, and you can go get tickets to maybe a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Or if you want to get World Cup tickets as well, they have them available right now. But if you guys want to go to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, they have stuff out right now. And if you want to go to a concert as well, maybe if you're going to a Noah Khan concert, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So you're getting a good deal. If you see green dots, that means it's a good deal. If you see red, obviously that means bad. Now, my favorite part about SeatGeek is that you can see what your view is going to look like before you buy the ticket. So if there's a poll in your way, you know what's happening. So if it's a good deal, you can see where you're going to be looking and watching Bucky Irving score so many touchdowns next year. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets. Concert, MLB game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game with promo code CHAT10. Just click the link in the description to download the app today and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so much to SeatGeek. Now, more from ESPN addressing linebacker. Now, he was talking about Josiah Trotter and what he can kind of bring to this defense. And I've said it before. I have it on my depth chart. I have Josiah Trotter as the starting linebacker next to Alex Anzalone. Alex Anzalone is going to be your coverage guy. Josiah Trotter can bring a little bit of a different type of game than maybe SirVocea Dennis and Lavonte David can. Now, second-round pick Josiah Trotter isn't quite as ready to contribute against the pass, with the Missouri product projected as one of a solid run defender, more than defender than the sort of player with the instincts to step right in as a pass defender. In that role, he might be an athletic upgrade on Dennis. Christian Roseboom, who started with the Rams and Panthers over the past few seasons, was also added as a veteran depth. This isn't the great linebacker room of years past, but it should be less of a liability in 2026. And I totally agree, because with Anzalone being your coverage linebacker, Trotter can focus on being that aggressive, run-stopping type of linebacker in the box. He does that very, very well. That's why you draft him there, right? You look for that thumper, because you lose Lavonte David, who was kind of an all-around, but that was not his game. He was not the thumper type of guy. He was all-around, making plays everywhere, forcing fumbles, forcing turnovers. Now you got to look at this linebacker depth chart and take a step back and say, what are we going to do without Lavonte David? Now, he was a little bit of a liability last year with his athletic ability and just him getting up in age. So now you kind of look at it a little different here with SirVocea Dennis behind Josiah Trotter. Christian Roseboom, I think, is going to get some run, but he's going to be more of a veteran depth piece type of guy. This linebacker room, it is going to look very, very different in 2026. And I think a key part in that is rotational guys, right? I think Alex Anzalone is going to be your green dot coverage guy, but he is sort of going to be that quarterback to everyone else that's kind of just going to be flowing in and out. I don't know if they're going to decide that Josiah Trotter is going to be that guy, but I mean, our Larry Foote, our linebacker coach and run game coordinator, he said, I don't think since we've been here, we've had that true Mike linebacker. What I mean by that is he's able to hit the guard and go make the play and get off very easily. He can strike those guys with a little old school football. I'm quite sure he gets it from his dad. This is obviously talking about Josiah Trotter and Jeremiah Trotter. He's the definition of that Mike linebacker. And it helps when you get and you have those guys because you don't have to have a lot of guys in the box. You can go light box, protect, and run because you know he can get two gap. He can handle his A gap, then get to the C gap. Let him do what he does well. This is Josiah Trotter that I'm talking about. Let him do what he does well, right? He's downhill, going to hit you in the mouth in those two gaps, right? Josiah Trotter, I know you guys were probably looking at that draft pick and saying, oh no, we missed out on Jacob Rodriguez, our linebacker of the future. I trust Todd Bowles when it comes to defense, right? Maybe as a head coach, he's a little shaky, but when it comes to defense, Josiah Trotter, he has the ability to become a great linebacker because if you put him in that role that he's good at of being a downhill, go make a play, go make a tackle type of linebacker, he will thrive in this defense. And I know Todd Bowles drafted him for a reason because he's got a scheme that will fit Josiah Trotter. So I hope, I know losing a guy like Lavonte David, I think that's more of a just culture and legend type of loss rather than an on-field type of loss. I think we're going to have to look at this linebacker group a lot different when we go into the 2026 season because it's going to be interesting. But let me know, do you agree with ESPN's opinion on the best offseason move? Type A for agree, type D for disagree. Is this something that you guys agree with in terms of the linebacker room needed a little bit of a change, or last year it was very lacking and now we have a couple additions that make it better and maybe a different idea of the linebacker room? You let me know down in the comment section. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Now it's time for the worst move. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't always agree with what ESPN has to say, but they said failing to persuade Mike Evans and Jamel Dean to return to Tampa was the worst offseason move that you could do. Now, I go back and forth with these two, right? Mike Evans, on one hand, he is like Lavonte David in terms of like, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because he could go ball out with the 49ers, and we're like, well, why would we let him walk? I don't know. I feel like there's a different way. There's a different reason why we would have let him walk. But be honest with me. This is the Prize Picks question of the day. Do you agree with the decision to let Mike Evans go? I'm just going to ask you straight up right now. Type Y for yes. Type N for no, because I want to know from you guys, the Bucs faithful, right? Do you agree with letting Mike Evans go? The legend, wide receiver, would have been his 13th season. As you guys answer this question down in the comment section, while you're down there, make sure to go say hello to our second sponsor of today's video, and that is Prize Picks. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app, as well as mine. It's a great way to watch sports and win some money at the same time, which is why I've been using it since 2022. Now, the app is super simple to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. And with social feeds feature, you can actually see this lineup that I have right now. You guys have seen it before. It's $20 to win 90. It's a 3-pick power play. It's a season-long Prize Picks. If you guys are not knowing what's going on right now with the World Cup or baseball or anything like that, and you want to stick to what you know, and that's Bucs football, I got you covered. And Prize Picks has you covered with season-long Prize Picks. I have Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, I might make one with Bucky Irving later on. And with the social feeds feature, you can see if I make that lineup. But it's Emeka Buka and then Bijan Robinson. I think the Falcons are going to be terrible this year. Now, if you want to take my lineup or make your own, just do it over at Prize Picks because they have an offer for new users. Download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comments and description and use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So going back to what we're talking about, ESPN, or what Bill Barnwell is talking about, what the worst offseason move is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's not bringing back Jamel Dean and Mike Evans. I'm torn, right? Let's see what Bill Barnwell has to say, though. He said it's never fun to lose franchise stalwarts. And while it's one thing when a veteran like David reaches the end of his playing career, the Bucs weren't able to bring back a pair of players who had put excellent work on film in recent years. Evans was hit by injuries in 2025, but he has had one of the most efficient seasons of his career in 2024, when the future Hall of Famer averaged 2.6 yards per route run. Dean posted a 63.1 passer rating and coverage in 2025 while missing just 2.1% of his tackle attempts. The veteran corner should have been a Pro Bowler ahead of alternate selections Nashawn Wright and Keyshawn Nixon in the NFC. So I agree with ESPN, kinda, right? Mike Evans, he's a little bit of a different story. Now, Jamel Dean, I agree with. I think we should have brought Dean back. I think he's a good veteran option in this cornerback room. But when it comes to Mike Evans, the injuries really hurt him. I mean, you heard Bill Barnwell talk about it. He only played 8 games. I just think when it comes to Mike Evans, when he's on the field, he's fantastic. We know this. We know who Mike Evans is. He's great. But let's be real. It's never fun to lose. Oh my God, English. It's never fun to lose legends like Evans and David. But Evans couldn't stay healthy, and it was clear he wanted a change of scenery. Now, Bill Barnwell talks about that later, but he said he wants a new challenge. That new challenge was a different team. So whether it be you don't want to pay him or he doesn't want to come back, I just think in the grand scheme of things, one, he was getting injured all the time. And when he's on the field, yes, he's great, but when he's on the field. And he also wants a change of scenery and a new challenge. At that point, I think you just have to let him go. I don't think he wanted to come back. He loves the town. He loves the town of Tampa, and he loves the fans. But he just wanted a new chapter, and fair enough for him. He's going to try and win a ring at the 49ers. So good for him. That's fine. Bill Barnwell continues with even worse. Neither player signed on an exuberant deal in leaving Tampa. Evans' contract with the 49ers is really a one-year pact for $14.3 million. Dean joined the Steelers, who don't guarantee multiple players for years who aren't future Hall of Famers, meaning his 3-year, $36.8 million deal looks like a one-year deal. $13.5 million. The Bucs are in a tight cap situation when you consider that Baker Mayfield is coming due for a raise this offseason, but those are more than fair deals for players who still project to play at a high level in 2026. I said it before, and I'll say it again. This one hurts more on the field than off the field, right? Jamel Dean, great guy. Great locker room presence, great veteran presence as well. His production, in terms of if you're going with Mike Evans and Jamel Dean, his production on the field, I think, you're going to miss that a lot more in 2026 by not bringing him back. Mike Evans, yes, great, legend, but he was hurt all the time, so the production is skewed a little bit. Jamel Dean had a great season. He had 46 tackles, 1 TFL, 9 PBUs, 3 interceptions. He had an 80 overall PFF grade. The guy balled out. He had one of the best seasons of his career. His coverage stats, great as well. Only allowed 1 touchdown. That's how he got that deal with the Steelers, right? But now you look at the secondary depth chart and you're like, shoot. This all of a sudden, he was a lot of depth, and we didn't realize. Jacob Parrish is thrown in there at the nickel. Benjamin Morrison with his injuries. Looking at this, it's like, wow, I feel like we could really use Jamel Dean right now. If I'm looking for veteran cornerback options to bring back, would have loved to bring back Jamel Dean. I know our cap situation was interesting, and you can't bring him back because he balled out. But, looking at our secondary now, I wish we had Jamel Dean in there. So I agree with ESPN on that part. But when he talks about how Light prepared for the scenario by using his top 2 picks in last year's draft on Whiteout Emeka Ibuka and cornerback Benjamin Morrison, although the latter struggled when called upon as a rookie and with injuries. The Buccaneers will survive and remain competitive in the NFC South, but it hurts to see key players leave for relatively reasonable contracts elsewhere without landing anything in return. I'd throw Jacob Parrish into that as well in terms of the draft picks, because you draft him in the same draft as Benjamin Morrison, because Jacob Parrish can play on the outside as well, and we'll have to see if that happens in 2026. So, overall, I agree not keeping either is bad, but when it comes to Mike Evans specifically, I said it before, he wanted to leave. And that's fine. You want a new chapter, want a new challenge. But for Jamel Dean, I think we could have brought him back, and I think we should have brought him back, right? Because I think when it comes to the production that Jamel Dean gave, he had a great season, and I think that's what our secondary is lacking right now. I've mentioned adding maybe a guy like Rasul Douglas, right? Who, a veteran guy, will help you out a lot. I think those two guys, that's why I kind of said I agree that it's not good to keep them, but I don't think we had any control over Mike Evans leaving. I think he was set to go. Obviously, in the back of his head, he's like, I don't know if I want to leave, but I think that was can't control that. Doesn't matter about the money. He wants a new challenge. Jamel Dean, I think we could have brought back. Now, last chance. I asked you guys in the beginning of today's show, who did Tom Brady throw his last regular season touchdown to? I'm banging on the table. Very, very last chance. What do you think? Don't look it up. Please don't look it up. It's not as fun. The answer is Kyle Rudolph, former Bucs tight end, who wore number 8 before SirVocea Dennis wore number 8. He actually talked about this on a podcast. I think it was Pardon My Take. He was talking about he scored this. This was his 50th career touchdown. He had the ball painted and signed as, Kyle Rudolph's 50th touchdown. But it turns out that was the last, because this was in the game against the Falcons, the season ender in the Falcons game. That was that last regular season touchdown by Tom Brady. So now he has the 50th for his touchdown is actually Tom Brady's last regular season touchdown. So let me know in the comments if you got it right. Thank you so much for watching to the end of today's show. If you made it all the way to this very long video, that means we're doing something right here at Bucs Breakdown. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you like the video as well. And as always, fire the cannons.